This Liberty Sports Update is brought to you by Beacon Credit Union.
You know, one of the greatest things about football, I believe, is just the challenges that it presents you, and I think how you handle those is makes you into part of the man that you're going to be. And so it was disappointing to not go on the road and get a sixth straight win in a game that you had a chance to win. I certainly knew, I told you guys that there was a differential in depth with a Big Ten roster as opposed to ours, and definitely a difference in size and girth. And that certainly showed up with them being able to control the clock for 41 minutes of the game and hold the ball that long. And us not getting off the field on third down. If we just get off the field on a 2 to 3 third downs, I think that game's different. And I think those and us fumbling a kickoff were really critical moments in that game. And when you're in the status of our program like we are right now, those few plays can certainly matter. And they did, and we showed our kids that. I loved the response of our kids yesterday. We're beat up a bit, particularly defensively, but I think they're hungry, and they've got a coaching staff that I assure you has a decided heart of where we will stay fast. And, I just believe that these times where you're disappointed, your ability to be able to bounce back from that are critical for life, for a team. And, and I think we can prepare them very well for that with our life experiences along with our coaching experiences. And that's our task this week, and I'm confident we'll get that done and go back on the road and perform well this Saturday against a UMass team that's I spent a day with Walt when he was at Florida State, and I went down and spent some time with them, and he knows exactly what to do offensively. He does a good scheme, has answers. He's an RPO guy. So we've got our hands full, and they've moved the ball and scored points on almost everybody they've played, with the exception of FIU. And defensively they struggled. I would expect us to be able to score some points. That's what our goal will need to be. We'll have to score, a considerable amount of points to win this game, I believe. So they've rotated quarterbacks, played 3 different ones. The kid that played last week, number 12, did play the entire game, so we'll anticipate him playing in this game. But certainly the others have played and had success at times. Really impressed with their running back and their tackles on offense. Number 10 is a really, really quality receiver. 9 on defense is, I think he was an All-American choice of independent teams, and he shows it on film. Very good corner. Special teams, or there's multiple. They do a really nice job of changing schemes from week to week, and so we'll have our hands full preparing for that also. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting on the practice field tomorrow. Yesterday was good, other than the injuries, and can't wait to get back out.
Coach, talk about the injuries. Can you give us an update on Ajayi, Tillman, King, and Shadro?
Every one of those will be day to day. There's nobody that is in that list that's ruled out. They'll just be day to day. All have either sprained MCL or ankles. In that case, there's I believe or a foot.
When you had a chance to go back and watch the tape, is there anything looking at it that you guys could have done differently from a defensive standpoint, either game planning or just playing different guys? Or
Yeah, it's not the different guys. I don't think it's. We did not play. We played really, really bad at linebacker, and I thought during the game that we were really getting it taken to us on the line of scrimmage. After watching the film, I didn't think that any longer. I didn't think that was the major issue. But we were not playing downhill at linebacker. We missed Brandon Tillman. He was made for that kind of game. And we just didn't play downhill at linebacker, and runs that should have been 1 and 2 yard gains were 5 and 6, and it kept them in second and medium and resulted in third and short. And so that was the major issue. The thing that people are, they came out and played an extra O-lineman a decent amount of the time in the first half. We hadn't seen that other than 3 plays of goal line. And we probably could have gone to maybe some type of goal line package when they came in with that to try to win first down and get them behind the stick some. Looking back, that's the only thing I think we could have added to it.
An update on Javon Scruggs. He came out late in the game.
Yeah, he took a vicious hit on that onside kick, which was not a clean play. He's in concussion protocol.
What about Caleb Coleman?
He dislocated his shoulder. It was popped back in, so we'll just have to see how he kind of responds to the tenderness of it.
When you look at what UMass has done this year, particularly last week by being able to put up some points against UConn, what do you notice offensively they're able to do well outside of what you've seen with RPO that concerns you with the defense and the depth that you might have, being a factor?
Well, depth is going to be a factor. We're going to have to get our 2 deep ready with kids that haven't played a lot of snaps this year. And then hopefully by Saturday, some of these that are on the day-to-day list will be able to be added bonuses to us. But the good thing is we'll be able to present to our defense exactly what they want to see because it's a mirror image of who we are. I mean, it's identical. The same RPOs, the same runs, same sets. They may go a little bit more 2-by-2 spread than we do. But that's typically when they've gotten behind a bit that they go to that. If they can stay in the game, they stay in their comfort zone, which is the RPO world.
Coach, last week Rutgers, a very big team up front. Do you feel like you match up a lot better with this Massachusetts team?
They're definitely a lot bigger than we are too in their O-line. I mean, their tackles are 6'8" and 6'7", and they're really big. Their guards are 1 6'5", 1 6'3". So their offensive line is going to be quite a bit bigger than our defensive line. But I think it's a better matchup for us. We've got to evaluate exactly what we're better at in this game and, what front we need to run, whether it's an odd front or even front and then trying to rest some guys. Ralph's playing too many snaps. We got to get him off the field some. And Austin Lewis is in concussion protocol too also, which makes us a bit shorthanded there also at defensive end. So, but it's not. We've been, most offensive lines are bigger than our defensive line right now, and we've seemed to manage okay up front. And again, after watching the tape from last week, I thought our kids up front, managed it pretty decently. We were not playing downhill at all at the linebacker position.
It's kind of losing feeling here in a while. When you met with the guys yesterday, could you get a sense at all about how they were kind of digesting and handling this?
I didn't give them much of an option. I just, our theme this week is I have a decided heart, and one of my favorite history stories is Christopher Columbus, and I can imagine, after 64 days on sea, what he's experiencing with his foods running out and people wanting to abandon ship and or return to where we came from, and he had a decided heart. We're going to the West, and we're going to discover new land, and that's the same thing I told them is we don't have an option. One of the worst things in life is to live in the past, and we're not going to allow that. It's not going to happen. And if you need some extra giddy up in your step or passion in your step, I need you to see me Monday. And I've had 2 come in to see me, and I've given it to them. So, but this is not a time to look. We've known all along that when you move it's one thing to play 3, 4 FBS games or 5, but when you have a 10-game stretch of teams whose rosters have had more time to develop in FBS talent, you know that you're going into a game, there's a chance they can beat you. And particularly if you don't play, I mean, we would have had to play extremely flawless offensively, and we were pretty good of the 9 possessions we had, really 8 possessions that we had. I mean, 8 possessions in a game is not a lot. And we would have, had to score every time and not fumble that kickoff and score that time also. And so we've got to find a way to improve our awareness of the importance of third down on defense and figure out a way to get off that field a few times early in the game to give them some confidence, hopefully. And I think we'll manage to score a few points, but we've got to. But that's just, this stretch we knew was going to be the most difficult. You got 4 on the road, 3 against what I would consider to be Power 5 teams. And we're beat up a bit to top it off, particularly defensively. And so it's a great challenge and opportunity, but it's one that we actually welcome. I like having my back against the wall for some strange reason. And I don't even know if we're against the wall right now, but I don't know. I've kind of feed on that and look forward to seeing if we have what it takes to get up after a disappointing loss. And so I'm looking forward to the week.
Are you going to evaluate the kick returner position a little bit this week?
Oh, it's already been evaluated.
Yeah.
It's I hope Shadro can go first and foremost, and believe he has a legitimate chance to. He ran around yesterday and looked pretty decent. Troy Henderson is going to catch kicks this week, and I think that's who it will be, provided he can catch them. So we'll have him. That's my plan going into it, is him.
You said you want to be fair to Trey Sibley and how you use him over the last 3 games that you give him action, and do you want to see him get more than 1 kick return in a game to see if he can provide that spark?
I don't know. We're going to give Troy the chance. I think he's deserving of it, and Sibley, I think, could give us a spark there too, and he'd probably be the backup. We won't burn his red shirt just on him returning a few kicks though, with the 4 games we have left. So we'll have to manage, kind of how that looks.
You kind of hit on it a little bit already, but is this team still believing that everything's in front of it as far as the bowl eligibility and everything like that? Do you sense that mentally everyone's kind of in a good place still?
It baffles my mind that I heard somebody, I won't say who it is because they know it irritated me, but I heard somebody say, we gotta stick together, and to me that's not even a question. I don't even think that way, and it's I just can't imagine, because we lost to a Big Ten team, that there would be people in and around the program that would not still believe, particularly after watching the film. So I can't think that way. I don't allow myself to, even if I'm not made to do that really anyway. But if I caught myself thinking that, I would want to run and jump off the balcony here or something. I couldn't. I can't operate that way, and hopefully everybody. I didn't sense any of that yesterday, but I don't give that any time really to even consider.
You mentioned in your opening address that you got to know Walt Bell when he's at Florida State. Was that during the time you were consulting, and what did you help him out with?
It was. Well, I just spent a day. Willie and I go way back to the Sun Belt days, and, I was really impressed. I didn't really do a whole lot other than just listen, and I'd throw in a thought here and there. But Walt knows, what to do offensively, and really impressed with watching his team on film.